I don't see China as a threat to the American people. And the peace movement, part of its responsibility is to explain that these ideas that Russia and China are threats to us. We are not, the us is not being represented in this. Corporations are being represented in this, rich are being represented in this, but not ordinary people. And so, and all this talk of democracy, autocracy, it's all a Cold War narrative, which is created to justify militarization. And there's no future for mankind in militarization. The only future for mankind is in disarmament and cooperation to deal with protecting the environment. I don't think the Cold War I ever ended. I think it quieted down. And as long as Russia was not asserting itself internationally, things were quiet. But the institutes and all the foundations that were behind the Cold War didn't go away when the Soviet Union went away. They stayed there. So, and the minute Russia and China emerge as significant major powers, then you see the Cold War institutes reemerge. Ray McGovern talks about what he calls the Mickey map, the military, industrial, congressional, intelligence, media, academic think tank complex. That's what we're dealing with. It's enormous. And yes, the other thing is the idea that war begins with weapons going off, that's also a mistake. The Cold War is part of the hot war. And when it comes to nuclear weapons, the last thing that will happen is nuclear weapons will go off. We have to realize that what is going on is part of a war right now. And we have to oppose it completely. War is a process and peace is a process. And actually, these are two processes that are simultaneously competing with each other. This is critical. Peace is a process of understanding and respecting the other, seeing what their concerns are, finding agreements of mutual benefit. That's the peace process. And anything which is creating the image of enemies or demonizing other people or other leaders, that is part of war. That is war making. Of course, it's extremely, extremely dangerous in the present circumstances. Well, we try and advocate our own representatives to take a peaceful position, to not get caught up in this. And, I would hope that other powers would not be unnecessarily drawn into conflict and not react to the situation, not play into as much as possible, not play into the narrative that's being structured by war forces and Cold War forces, and keep articulating what people's real needs and interests are. Because there is genuine concern in the United States amongst the population about what's happening to the environment. That is a very significant issue. And if China and other countries could get through to the people in some way so that they would understand there is this common concern, that would be, from my point of view, a peace process which would be countering the war process.